What's up guys, Mickle here, and if you were to ask most people in the XRP community who Ripple's biggest competitor is going forward, they would tell you that biggest competitor would be Swift. Well, in this video, I want to share with you how these two entities are hardly even competing anymore because Ripple has absolutely out-innovated them on every single level. I want to show you how Swift is actually capitulating and now desperately trying to partner with Ripple. This is absolutely shocking. It's a massive testament to our bullish thesis around Ripple and XRP. For the longest time, people have been saying Ripple will never be able to catch up to Swift. I want to show you that Ripple has already surpassed Swift, and it's just a matter of time until the customers and the volume comes over. This is absolutely shocking and massively bullish for XRP going forward. I also want to go over some breaking news in regards to the debt ceiling. I actually have some pretty inside information. I was on a Twitter space today regarding this. We're going to talk about that and where the markets are going to be headed, so make sure to stick around for that. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start out this video and quickly talk about the debt ceiling and where our markets are headed. And if you have been following this channel for a while now, you would know that I have been saying since these debt ceiling discussions started coming up, we were going to raise the debt ceiling. There's been a lot of people, including the mainstream media, fear-mongering this event, but my thesis has always been there is zero chance they don't raise the debt ceiling. Well, I was actually on a Twitter space earlier today, and we actually had some people on that Twitter space who work inside our government, and they confirmed that there is already a handshake deal between both parties to raise the debt ceiling. Now, the main reason I bring this up is one, because it's going to be huge for the markets going forward. There were so many people fear-mongering this event, scared we were not going to raise the debt ceiling, and we were going to see a huge crash in the markets. But like I had been saying, there was never an actual chance this was going to happen. The entire world needs the United States to raise the debt ceiling. This is not some small issue between political parties about spending. It's so much bigger, and inevitably, politicians were going to be politicians. They were going to fight back and forth tooth and nail over dumb things, but eventually it was going to get raised. And it looks like, and by the time this video gets released, it might have already happened. Either way, it looks like the debt ceiling is confirmed going to be raised in the next 2 days, which no matter what side of the aisle you're on, it's really important for the entire world to move forward, and it's really important for the American people to stop having to worry about something so silly like this. Now, with that said, we're also seeing inflation tanking, which is a great sign, and alongside inflation tanking back to normal rates, we are actually seeing that the consumer is actually still holding up really well. Earlier this morning, we found out that the consumer is still spending in a positive direction, and most people were forecasting that consumer spending would be in a negative direction already. Overall, what I'm trying to say is there has been a lot of FUD, a lot of uncertainty about the economy over the past year now, but what keeps on happening is these fears, these worries keep on getting dismissed by the market itself. I just point this out because it seems like everyone is convinced we are going to have some massive macroeconomic event that's going to tank everything, but yet again, we see all the FUD being pushed aside and the economy is just shockingly resilient. We're going to have to see how this plays out, but to be honest, most of the really negative things that the bears were hanging their hats on are going away, and I just want to point this out to you because if we really do see a lot of these indicators like inflation going back to 2%, the Federal Reserve starting to cut rates back to normal, and consumer spending going back up to normal levels, if not high levels, we could be back into a very, very strong economy, and that would be super bullish for cryptocurrencies going forward. Now, with all that said, I want to move forward and actually talk about Ripple and Swift because I think a lot of people in the XRP community are convinced that these two companies are against each other. I think at one point they really were against each other, but I actually think Swift is starting to give up. And when I mean give up, I don't mean Swift is trying to go away or Swift is just saying, okay, Ripple, you can dominate this market, but it looks like Swift is actually willing to let Ripple operate beneath them. For a long time, Swift was considered the plumbing of our financial system. But what we are seeing is the plumbing needs upgrading, and Swift does not have the technology to bring in this new era plumbing. The new era plumbing is going to be digital assets. It's going to be an internet of value, and Swift doesn't have that. Ripple does, so what is happening is prior to Ripple being around, Swift was the base layer of our financial system. But now we have Ripple coming in with a new space age technology and is actually going under Swift. The reason this is actually so bullish is because Swift is now accepting that is happening and coming out and saying, hey, well, you don't have to stop using us. You can just use us to access Ripple's products. This is the ultimate bullish scenario because it looks like more than ever, Swift is just going to sit on top of a lot of Ripple solutions, and ultimately it's going to force a lot more volume to go through Ripple rather than having to choose between going through Swift and Ripple. Now, I want to play you this video of someone at Swift telling you this exact thing and then break down for you exactly how XRP is being positioned perfectly in this future financial system. Guys, in my opinion, this is the ultimate bullish scenario. Rather than having these two entities go head to head, we are actually seeing Swift say, you know what, you can go under us, you can start routing a lot of these high volume payments. This is fascinating, and I think it's extremely bullish.
When we think about our business model, is that we got to simplify things. We have to take as many players out of the chain as possible. And I think that it caused you to step back and rethink. I think 20 years ago, if you want to move money cross border, you automatically think about an Nostro and Vostro arrangement, getting a correspondent and sort of going down that route. Now, as Charlotte mentioned, Visa has products. Ripple has options. There are myriad options out there to think about how you move money around the world on behalf of your clients. And so that's changed our mindset.
So you heard that Swift representative right there. Swift is being forced to look at new ways to move value all around the world. Nostro and Vostro accounts simply aren't cutting it anymore. He directly says right there, Ripple has solutions to this issue. Ripple is positioning themselves perfectly to take over the new rails of our financial system. For the longest time, we had these Nostro Vostro account rails tag teamed with Swift, but Swift is really turning into an application layer that sits on top of Ripple's plumbing. Ripple is creating a brand new way of moving value, something that is completely differentiated from what any other company can do, and it also happens to be the only one using blockchain technology or using an internet of value. In my opinion, this is clearly where the market is going. We need to be able to move value just like we move information on the internet, and Ripple is creating that plumbing for the largest financial institutions in the world. For the longest time, Ripple was cut out of this system simply because they were a small fintech player and Swift was able to just ignore them. But what we are seeing is Swift is starting to capitulate and is letting them into the system. This is the most important thing because ultimately, I am so confident on Ripple's tech. I am so confident on XRP. I know when they are giving a level playing field to compete against these other solutions, I know they are going to win. All we need is clarity, and we need these big institutions to start letting them into the equation, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening. And I just want to finish off and just show you something that is also happening behind the scenes. And it just goes to show that Ripple is not just these cross-border payments. Ripple is really building all kinds of infrastructure for this entire new financial system. And this is just another reason why I know they are going to dominate companies like Swift. Lord Vendetta tweeted out, Palau is controlled by the United States. Palau is a US testing ground. All pilot projects in Palau are US pilot projects. We know Palau is currently building a CBDC on the XRP ledger. We know that the Federal Reserve just put out a document saying that Ripple's native token XRP can be used for wholesale settlement. The United States directly sends aid to Palau for their military, and they also have military bases all over Palau. Palau is adopting the XRP ledger to build their new native currency. Meanwhile, the United States Federal Reserve is talking about how they can use XRP for wholesale payments. What we are seeing is the groundwork being laid out for the new financial system. It cannot be more obvious. These things are happening behind the scenes right now. They're happening on smaller scales. The mechanisms are being tested. The concepts are slowly being put into action while we wait for clarity for this entire thing to play out. Once XRP gets clarity, once XRP has the regulations it needs to fit this role, we are going to see the larger institutions jump in and start modeling after what these smaller countries have done. We are moving to a new financial system. There is going to be new leaders in this space. And what I want to show you is that Ripple and XRP are positioned perfectly to build this new layer that is going to completely transform our financial system. Now, there are other crypto projects out there that are going to play a part, and there's other traditional companies like Visa and MasterCard that are going to play a part too. But let me tell you, for Ripple to put a dent in the universe, for XRP to gain massive amounts of value, and for Ripple to be one of the largest companies in the world, they do not need the whole system, guys. They do not need to take over all the value. All they need to do is play their part in this new system. And let me tell you, we are all going to be very happy in the future. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.